What's up, my sorcerers? Today, your favorite character, Yuji Itadori, is going in the trash because we have a new main character for the movie of Jujutsu Kaisen 0. I'm Annie, the person who's adopted the mute guy.
What's his name?
Inumaki.
Yay.
Because he's a dog sushi.
And I'm Minty. I just like Maki. Sushi.
Wait a second, do they both have the word Maki in it?
I think we've talked about this before already.
And welcome to FunUntitled, where we serve every podcast fan an FU. So, we just saw the movie. Overall, first take before we get into the major spoilers. How did you like the movie, person who read all of Jujutsu Kaisen?
I liked the movie overall. I didn't think they were gonna go like blow by blow exactly like the manga, but I guess they did. I think overall it's a nice story, right? Like you set up the characters, you set up the relationships, you explain the world, and then you go into like what it's all heads to, which is like an awesome fight and how he's really able to utilize his powers. I think overall, I think they did do good setup, climax, and then the resolution.
And for those who don't know, Jujutsu Kaisen 0 is basically the prequel to Jujutsu Kaisen. So this came first, right?
Yes, the first 4 chapters came out, which is actually right now free to read for the movie. But honestly, you don't really have to read it if you watch the movie. So this came first. I guess this is what he wanted to do originally, but for some reason changed it. I mean, it's the same premise. It's just different characters.
So if you're confused why Gojo Sensei has bandages around his eyes, don't worry, he didn't get laser eye surgery. That's just what he looked like before that he realized blindfolds were cool.
It was the surgery that gave him the powers, not the bloodline, the surgery.
So as someone who only watched the anime, I didn't care for the plot. Like, it was very self-contained because it was the prequel. I just didn't give a ding-dang doodly-doo about the main character, Yuta.
Wow.
I really didn't. But I will say they paid like the highest artists they could find because the composition was great. The soundtrack was slap. Like when it got into like that street punk music during the battle, I was like, oh my god, am I watching Bleach? Because the soundtrack is fire.
They definitely got music for this movie.
And I will rave about how cool it is that they made this movie so dang colorful because they do like this magic spell called the Veil, which basically means that normal people can't see them. And in different parts of the movie, it's all blue. And that's really cool because they bring out a super white demon that looks really bright in the dark blue contrast. Then they have a scene that's really green and it helps the pink aura stand out really nicely at the end. And then at the very end, it's kind of like, oh, it's a really pretty orange sunset. And then we go to like a desolate yellow. And according to America, that means we're in Mexico.
Oh, I don't know if everyone's seen the post.
And then when they get out of like that magic space, they go back to a purple sunset. And I'm like, it's so dang colorful and the backgrounds are so pretty. Why did we waste all this money on Jujutsu Kaisen?
I mean, it's good. Artistically, it is very good. The plot's there. I mean, let's get into the plot, right? So, the prequel is split up into 4 chapters. So, let's go with like the beginning case, right? The opening is really good. It really draws you in with the fact that Yuta's being bullied. And that causes his curse to activate and defeat his bully, which I guess is also kind of links into the jellyfish guy in season 1. God, I can't remember his name.
Do you mean Yuji's boyfriend?
I don't know, because some people ship him with Megumi, some people ship him with Sukuna, and I'm like, what the fuck?
And we all know the correct ship is Sukuna x Megumi.
Oh god, somebody gotta explain that to me. Actually, I don't want to know, because nothing's gonna convince me.
Alright, so back in 1995.
When you were born?
Yeah, that's when the ship was made.
I was gonna say, that's when things hit the fan.
Oh shit, I just aged myself. Moving on.
So it's basically kind of the same premise as Yuji, except like Yuta's more realistic and like he's scared and he just doesn't want to hurt people, while Yuji's like, I'm down for anything.
When I saw that boy put his shirt on during the opening sequence to that bomb ass song, I was like, no, this movie is so well animated. Why is it so well animated doing like this shit? Like the Lizzie McGuire getting dressed scene.
Because if they are putting in the effort to animate those scenes well, then you know everything else is gonna slap.
That's fair.
They're setting you up, man. They want you to know like you're in for a good ride. a little too long. I didn't need to see him tying his shoes. I didn't need to see him bowing to the monk.
I thought Gojo Sensei was funny.
Sure. I love the scene where Gojo's like, we got a new student. They're like, I couldn't give a fuck. But when Yuta walks in, it's like just straight into the horror and terrifying of the presence that Rika has, the strong red, and just like her being this blur of dark energy. Like, that's just cool.
Yes or no? Were you kind of annoyed with the constant glare on Maki's glasses?
I actually thought it was very cool. I thought it's like to keep in mind the effects of glass and light, because a lot of times it's just like a black line with maybe some shine, but this is like the glasses has depth, and even like the thickness of the glasses interacts with light differently than from like the flat surface of the lens. So I thought it was very cool.
See, I know why they did it, because the glasses becomes important later, so they want to point out she has glasses. It's just very distracting for me, because sometimes the lens circle is just a little too thin, so it looks like she just has two half circles on her face.
You're like trying to fall in love with the characters by searching in their eyes.
Yeah, I'm trying to see what you see.
That Maki is sexy as hell, but God, I can't stand those leg warmers.
I love leg warmers.
And I don't know why.
So Yuta, I get Yuta and Yuji confused all the time. Yuta goes on his first mission with Maki with them legs. And I just want to point out real fast, I really like the hallway scene when the two talks to each other and they break the 180 rule to make it look like they're talking to each other. But then like the lighting, just like such strong themes of Maki is kind of like more like evil in the dark and Yuji's in the light, like more innocent.
Naivety.
Naivete. Yuji looks like Maki's right. Yuji looks like he's about Yuta looks like he's about to cry any minute throughout the whole movie.
I mean, he's very weak, you know? And this is like a very scary thing for him. All he knows is that like he's got a lot of pressure to perform, otherwise people, mainly himself, is going to die. So the first mission is basically they're going to a school where there's disappearing children and they have to exterminate the curse and either save or retrieve the bodies of the children that have gone missing. Right off the bat, they start off with that cool Maki fighting the 3 weak curses and doing that spin, and like even like the environment is spinning with her and you see every motion. It's not one of those close up or like blurs. It's like you could probably pause scene by scene and see where each limb is.
It's so cool that Maki spins with her weapon.
And it's like they bring it up in later scenes too. So good. My favorite fighting scene is actually the training one.
Yeah. That was really good.
Right? Like this one was good, but later on, that's so much like wow. Because it's against the sword and it's like fighting back. But you go from that scene to later on where it's like they get swallowed up by the big demon. I want to say demon because like every other series calls it a demon, but they're called curses in this one. So my bad if I say them interchangeably.
I will say, I'm very impressed that Jujutsu Kaisen, as far as I could tell, didn't really do any 3D animation. Because like, you had a giant monster, you had Maki spinning, that would have been very easy via 3D. But it seems like they kept it all 2D, or at the very least, like, they did it 3D and then they traced over it 2D.
Oh, I said, yeah.
Because Dragon Ball Super Broly, they had to go 3D. KNY, they had to make the train monster 3D. And it just takes me out,
The Dragon Ball Super Broly one was pretty good though. The 3D.
That was pretty good. I'll see how this new movie that's all 3D is gonna be.
Ooh, that would be exciting. Because I do think, yes, the 3D process right now is very choppy. And sometimes it's pretty obviously bad. Like we talked about this in Critical Role. Sometimes it was like, ugh, like the dragon.
I just don't like 3D and 2D combined. How about that?
Sure. But I think they're going to master it to like blend the two to make a really good, like, they can save the money with 3D but have the fluidity of 2D. So I'm waiting for that moment.
I mean, live 2Ds with VTubers is a good step.
True, but that's very limited in motion.
You know who else is limited in motion? My mom.
What was the joke?
It's moving on, the guy, he finds the 2 kids and Maki kind of slaps them around like the dom she is and says, hey, what do you want to do? Because if you want to save these kids, do something.
I love the symbolism of what's going on. I love how important this is for Yuta because when he was a kid, his friend basically died in front of him. I don't know if he felt any guilt. I think he just felt a lot of remorse. But I do wish they made it stronger because I did have to like kind of rethink in my head. Did they tie in Yuta's past with what's happening now to give him that strong connection that he really wants to perform well to not make like the same past mistakes? And I think it does tie in, but it's not like told or shown as strongly as I would have liked it to.
Can I be be real right now? I've only realized that's why he wants to protect people is because he saw Rika die in front of him when you said it.
That's what I'm saying. It's like,
But am I dumb?
no, I think a lot of series, like, okay, if a series just like bonks you on the head and tells you like every 5 minutes, then that's wrong to do because you should be able to know. But I think this series just could have just brought in the Rika past thing a little bit more. That's why it was exactly played at that moment, because if it was, then it would have been stronger. But then I was also like, it's a weird balance, right, between like not shoehorning it, but also like, hey, there's a connection and I need you to see this.
You know why I think I got confused? Because when Rika got ran over, obviously, storytelling, Yuta didn't really seem to care as much because immediately Rika just kind of started crawling towards him, being like, we're gonna be together forever, even if I'm dead.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Like, you kind of need that scene that gives off the twist to kind of show like Yuta really did care
Yeah.
that Rika died.
But I know why they waited to the end.
I guess maybe they could have had something though. It was kind of obvious though he was devastated. Let's be fair. So what more could they really show? Because it's obvious.
Yeah, I might just be dumb then. 50-50.
50-50.
I'll take some credit, Mappa.
Let's see what, like, did other people make this connection? Was it obvious to you guys? Because, like, even I said, I had to kind of rethink the scene over. Because I feel like Jujutsu Kaisen always has, like, every protagonist has their, like, hero speech, right? Of, like, why they want to do this, what's their motive. I don't think Jujutsu Kaisen is a very good writer in that sense, in, like, doing the hero speech. So when Maki was like, what's your motive? He didn't write it in a way that made it feel inspiring. It just felt very generic, and he was like trying to figure out why other protagonists did it well, but he just didn't do it. Because I think, what was his answer? It was just basically so no one gets hurt.
Yeah, and I guess like when it's funny when he said I don't want anyone to get hurt again, I was just thinking about the bullies that he shoved in the locker.
You might be dumb. Because I don't think he has any remorse for those. I mean, I guess he kind of feels bad, but really it's like, it's always about Rika, right?
I'm not talking anymore because you called me stupid.
After you admitted that you may be a little dumb. So the scene ends with Yuta carrying everyone out to safety whilst after he summoned Rika to defeat the curse. It's a very interesting scene. It's like, gives you a taste of what's going to happen. Like, what is Yuta's prospects for being in Jujutsu High and what his powers are going to be. Kind of. And I'll tell you why later. Why kinda.
Well, until then, because at the very end we'll get into manga spoilers, correct?
Sure, yeah. A little bit of spoilers. Just a very little.
Just a tad bit. Just a little taste. So, Yuta from this experience, I don't know how he realizes that instead of Rika cursing him when she died, he might be cursing her instead. So he wants to break the curse so Rika can go to heaven. And Gojo's like, alright, so if you want to break this curse, I'll give you a sword. You put Rika's energy in the sword, little by little, and eventually she'll be completely in the sword and then detached from you. And Yuta was like, bet, gotta learn how to use the sword now. Then we do Minty's favorite scene. As much as we love it, we're not going to give a visual tale by tale, play by play of how Maki did the split.
Oh my god, like, so fucking cool.
Like, I saw Minty get aroused.
I like the martial arts scenes.
So Panda also sees the little connection, so he makes fun of Maki, and Gojo's like, knock it off, kids. Inumaki, Yuta, we're going on a mission on our favorite rocket ship.
Well, he's not going.
Oh, yeah. Well, Gojo...
He basically sends them off to the death, kind of. So, I guess like the owner of a mall that's doing renovation wants or has requested Inumaki to get rid of the many low-level curses within the mall so that they can do renovations without any unfortunate things happening.
And Yuta is there to watch, and he is prohibited from summoning Rika like he did last time.
Which is a little weird because, I mean, like, I kind of get it, but you don't really have, like, the proof that Rika would go on a rampage because she's, like, pretty obedient from what they saw. I mean,
And you gotta remember, she did sub those 4 boys into the locker without Yuta telling her to, so she could behave, but she could also go batshit crazy.
sure, I guess.
You don't know, like, if there's a raccoon in the backyard, it might have rabies. Just because it ate out of my hand once doesn't mean it didn't have rabies.
I like to think Rika should have given the benefit of the doubt. I guess that would have changed this story. Because once Inumaki shows off his cool little curse speech, it is revealed that there's like another like higher level curse in there and kind of like takes them aback, kind of like throws them for a loop. And Inumaki's like, I'm gonna deal this with on my own, but
That's not what he said. He said bonito flakes.
shut the fuck up. But Yuta's like, no, my goal now is to become a Jujutsu Kaisen sorcerer. Kaisen? Wait, what does Kaisen mean?
I don't know.
I'm actually realizing now that like Jujutsu is like the power that they're using to defeat curse. That's why they're Jujutsu sorcerers. What the fuck is a Kaizen? Is Kaizen a sorcerer?
I don't know.
Or is Kaizen the high school?
It might be a high school.
I don't know, because don't they call it Jujutsu High?
Anyways, so
I'm
this
gonna have
is
to Google this.
this is when Yuta, he gets his sword out, he plays all his moves, and then it turns out that he was just trying to get the throat medicine underneath the demon to give to the true throat goat Inumaki.
Oh my god.
To defeat him, and Yuta's like, yay, I learned how to use the sword. Now, this is what I was saying in the beginning with the whole color shit. Like I said, they have a veil so that way no one outside can get hurt, and it's all green, but there's splashes of red in the beginning, or like red lights and danger to like foreshadow that this isn't going to be as easy mission as they thought it was going to be. And then, bam, he masters putting some of his Rika's aura into the sword, and it comes out as a beautiful pink color. And I love that the aura for Rika is pink because it represents love, even though it was red on the movie poster.
And he's a little sour because they made Jujutsu Kaisen keychains, which is on the Etsy shop Suraelis, Suraelis, and they made it red. It's a nice color though, the red.
I digress though. And it's just, the colors are so fucking pretty in this movie.
Link is in the description.
Yes. So that we finished My Boy Inumaki. It was very short.
This was one of the stories though they could have kind of left out.
Well, they had to kind of foreshadow, what's Gojo's boyfriend's name?
Geto.
Geto. I hate the fact that there's two adults named Gojo and Geto.
In Japan, they are very different. In America, it's like the two letters off.
You know how they have okay, full disclosure, they're like friends or something, right? Like high school friends?
Yes, I mean that's kind of obvious from what we've seen in the movie.
Is the nurse lady the girlfriend in the trio?
She is like the Sakura of Naruto and Sasuke.
Okay.
The Nobara of Yuji and Megumi. The Lucy of Natsu and Grey.
Okay, I get it. No one's gonna get that one.
No, I got more. Hold on.
So we see more into Geto.
The Ochako of Deku and
Geto
Kaja.
made a church. Because it seems like Geto, he is a banned sorcerer, and he started a church just to like get demons and collect it from people, because that's what his jujutsu is, just like gathering all them bitches and using them for his own like Pokemon master ways.
Yeah, because he's created an army, and I guess for some reason he finds this to be the easiest way to get an army.
But yeah, okay, someone who didn't read the manga, and Minty will explain this at the end, I got so confused when I heard this bastard be like, the strong should live and, continue evolution. We should just kill all the weak. Why protect them? And then we go to Gojo having a flashback of him and Geto fighting because Geto's like, we should protect the weak. Like, whoa. Did we go 180 here? What's happening? Did you go evil because you went too left and then eventually you went too right?
That part I won't explain in the podcast because that's pretty heavily spoiler territory. Like, I'll do like some light spoilers later and I will give a fair warning right before I do it, but that one's more of a heavy spoiler.
Well, I was just like,
that's for the manga readers.
But am I the only one who was like, what the fuck? How am I supposed to get into this villain's groove? I don't get what he's doing.
Yeah, I don't know why they included that scene. I don't know if it's just because it was in the manga. It does detract from like I said, I thought they were gonna change it to be more appealing to like the anime only watchers, because mostly anime watchers and people who've already seen the manga I guess all fans are gonna watch this, but the anime watchers are only gonna know season 1. So it was weird to put these, what would you call it, like a foreshadowing of things that aren't gonna happen, and you're just not gonna care about it, and you're gonna remember them from the movie. But
was this in chapter 0?
What is the
little flashback between Gojo and Geto?
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know if that specifically is in the original manga chapter 0, but there's a whole arc that goes over their past, and it's a very good arc. It's one of the only arcs I really like in Jujutsu Kaisen besides the Goodwill Kyoto arc.
So we finished Inumaki thing, we foreshadowed
Geto.
God, Yuji, Yuta, Inumaki, Maki, Geto, and Gojo. I'm having some troubles.
Maki, Mai, Megumi.
Oh my goodness. So Geto comes to the school and he kind of threatens everyone, being like, on Christmas Eve, my gift to the world is Demon Jesus, aka I'm gonna unleash thousands of demons in Japan, Tokyo, and Kyoto.
Japan, Tokyo. Like there's another Tokyo around the world somewhere.
Shut up. And so he's like,
and even if there was, it's not the one you would think of first anyways.
And he says, so holler at me, bitches. Yuta, you want to join my side? And Yuta's like, no, you kind of make fun of my girlfriend Maki, so get wet.
Let's be clear, I do not ship them together. I'm like a hardcore Maki and Nobara fan.
And I told you, in this Christian household, we value
our hetero ship.
We value multi-shipping.
Oh, okay. I mean,
Jesus said Adam and Eve, not Adam or Eve.
Shut up.
So So yeah, everyone kind of goes out to Tokyo and Kyoto, and Geto's like, yes, leave Yuji alone, Yuta alone.
You would think that would have been a red flag too. Let's not leave Yuji alone. Oh, God. Now you have me doing it. What's his name?
Yuta.
Let's not leave Yuta alone, because, I mean, basically Geto kind of played his hand by being like straight to Yuta and be like, yo, I want you.
Because I want you, Starlight. I don't know the song Levitating that well.
God damn it.
So Gojo, he's looking for his boyfriend on the battlefield, and he realizes that he's probably going after Yuta. So he sends over Panda and Inumaki to go help Yuta. So because he knows that if Yuta saw both of them kind of dead on the ground, Yuta would snap.
That's fucked up.
I gotta say, I like Gojo in the anime. I did not like him in the movie because his relationship with Geto is weird.
Because you haven't seen the flashback art.
This movie panders to people who didn't see the flashback art. I am the common audience. You think they got $1 billion from every single Tom, Dick, and Harry who read the manga?
They want you to be curious about the relationship so that way when it is revealed later, you'd be like, oh wow, that's why Geto's so important to Gojo.
I'll tell you why they're important. Yeah.
Because they're friends. And they're like basically each other's only friend. They're both like outsiders who have like very radical ideas and they inspire each other to improve each other to be better. But unfortunately, each of their own radical ideas opposes each other, so they can't fight on the same side.
So Gojo can't kill his boyfriend, so it's up to Yuta because Yuta saw this man get to wreck shop on all his three friends. And oh my goodness, it's so sexy when Inumaki speaks in regular Japanese instead of the bonito flakes.
That was a very impactful moment for him to like break protocol, for him to kind of risk. I mean, I don't know how high the risk was to be cursing Yuta at that moment, but he basically takes a 0% risk to curse people and has taken a small risk to tell Yuta, dude, get the fuck out of here.
I'm kind of sad that the movie added a bunch of fight scenes like Nanami doing his 3 black lashes, go with all the crows and axes, guy who did the drill thing.
Okay, I love and hate those scenes because I love the expansion of these fights. And like I said, I do love the martial art aspects of these fights. These characters are very important, more so in later episodes of the anime. What I just don't like is, one, you kind of expanded fights on a lot of characters that weren't that important. Two, I didn't think Nanami or Gojo were like the close combat type. I feel like they just added that for movie production because I thought they mostly fight with the main sorcerer's skill, right? Because Nanami only did the 3/7 once and Gojo did the red power to not even the main exorcist he was fighting against. I wish they had expanded the fight between Yuji and Geto.
Well, number one, I kind of wish I saw Geto fight Maki.
Oh, me too. Yeah.
I don't know why I was completely off scene.
It wasn't in the manga.
Well, as we just said, there's a bunch of fights not in the manga. Number two, I love this fight where like the sorcerers was watching everyone get massacred and the sorcerers were like trying to fight the courage to go up and Nanami just like puts their hand on their shoulders and like, nah, let me handle
Okay,
this.
that was a pretty good scene.
Let
That
daddy
was-
handle this.
I do like that too. I wish it showed a little bit more of like them going to fight because they only really took one step and then he kind of intervened. I wish it was like at least like kind of like starting to run towards the monster. Ugh, curse. Man, I didn't watch Tokyo Ghoul, so saying curse is not like in my vocabulary.
Tokyo Ghoul.
Don't they call them curses?
In the anime with Unravel,
I don't know. I've never seen the series.
he did not call them curses. They called each other ghouls. It's in the name.
Oh.
Anyways, it's tough. It was really bloody. There was a lot of kids in the theater.
Yeah, well, most of the blood was purple, so... Well, except Maki. Maki was covered in red blood.
But no, I won't comment on Nanami and Gojo because I don't really know their fighting style. Because I saw Nanami fight like once in the anime.
How much more do you have to see him fight?
Well, it seemed like he did the whole tie around the fist and he did the punches a lot.
Does he?
Yeah, he did a lot against the guy who looks like Shuaishi. No, not Shuaishi. Okay, this pisses me off. This is gonna be a small
Mahito.
tangent. Mahito looks just like the guy from My Hero Academia.
A little.
Shigaraki.
Yeah, I see it, but you know.
Who did this? Who did this to me? But yeah, he did the hand thing a lot, and then I think when he cuts, it's always just implied that he's doing the 3/7.
No, what do you mean?
Every time he makes a cut with the knife, he's doing the perfect ratio.
So when he cuts a neck from top to bottom, that's a 3/7 ratio?
I don't know his powers.
I just feel like they usually always have the imagery when he does it. So
Like the golden ratio in JoJo.
yeah, in a sense. So because the fight between Yuta and Geto is very good, and I love the adding Rika to the mix because then it just makes it like a very unique fight because it's usually very very one-on-one.
I love the fact that all three of Yuta's fight was very different.
Oh yeah.
The first one, you just summon Rika. The second one, you do it by yourself. The third one, you're both working together as a tag team.
And he's extremely competent and confident in what he wants to do. And like he's like in charge of the show.
I think he did a red flash during the fight.
What?
You know the whole stupid thing where Nanami did the 3 red flashes and Yuji can do the red flash and get in the zone?
Oh, okay.
I think Yuta, they implied that he did the red flash because they did the whole black with the red outline.
Oh, gotcha.
I don't know what the red flash stands for. I just know it exists.
I wish we did see more of like Geto's jujutsu curse manipulation power because that's kind of his thing. I mean, he's not just one who just orders curses around, but it was okay. I mean,
Geto's a very boring fighter when he didn't have that 3 weapon thing.
oh, the try nunchuck.
Yeah, because just him summoning monsters and the monsters getting obliterated.
That is true.
Like, he sent out a mother effing special grade demon that did nothing.
That didn't even move. Like, what the fuck was that? And the maelstrom was like,
That's the thing. I thought the battle was very cool. I'm very upset that the climax was just Geto doing 2 really powerful attacks and Rika just nuked them both.
also like Yuta sacrificed himself so that way Rika could kill Geto. Technically, he did. He gave the offer. Rika just didn't take it because she loved him. She loves him.
It is a very cute couple. She's dead, but we gotta move on.
That could be problematic in other ways, but God, that's a cute couple.
Well, no, because I was thinking about that because technically Rika aged together with Yuta.
I wasn't necessarily talking about like in the age sense, but just basically like it doesn't follow a lot of rules, but so it's hard to apply like normal morality standings on it. So I don't know if it's like some people could say it's wrong, but I just think at face value, it's such a cute couple.
I think the fact that it's not sexual at all, we can just say it's very pure kind of love.
No, sure, yeah.
I mean, that's what they said, right? So Geto limps off dying, and then Gojo comes and says, "Bro, are you really dying? Because I saw you in season 1 of the anime. Either I'm gonna let you go and live, or this is it, and you came back as a curse."
Let's keep it vague for now.
Yeah, right. And they do this weird thing where Gojo says something, and Geto's like, "Man, why'd you tell me that? Shit." And I don't know what it is. Minty doesn't know what it is.
It's for all I know, it could be I love you. It's God the gay.
Oh, it could be.
It could be anything.
And then the anime kind of ends with Yuta with his friend. Oh, I skipped the most important part.
Yeah, I was like, what the hell?
Sorry. So Rika goes to heaven, even though if you read her behind the scenes, she might be a cursed child.
Whoa. Okay, first of all, Yuta's clearly the cursed child. Second of all, it is proven that Yuta is the one cursing Rika, and Rika is just like, you've done nothing wrong, Yuta. I've had a blast being with you, and I'm gonna move on to the other side so that way you don't have to feel guilty or burdened that like you think you're keeping me here, and I will see you when you're ready to come over.
But don't come too soon. I gotta clean the
That scene
house.
is so fucking heartfelt, and it's just like because from the beginning Yuta's worried about Rika, and now it's like a burden has been lifted, the veil has been lifted.
It's nice to see Rika like be such a pure love even in her human form and outside the demon, because in every way, shape, and form she loves him in a very pure way.
Yeah, she literally just wants what's best for him. She got a nice ass ring for Yuta. What did Yuta give her?
Well, she stole her deceased mother's wedding ring.
You guys can Google it. There's like 11 facts that is never revealed in the series, so it's not really spoilers. But man, Rika's got a tough family life.
So Rika turns into bubbles, as we all do when we die.
I can only hope so.
I remember when I lost my brother to the bubbles.
So that's basically the end of the movie. Well, unless we want to talk about the after credit scenes, which I hope that all of us have learned to do after watching so many Marvel Cinematic Universe movies.
This is the part. Okay, so Yuta is in his second year here. He's eating with the guy that Gojo was fighting, the guy from Kenya.
Miguel.
And I told Minty every way to Sunday that looks like Yuta became evil. Yuta is now working for Geto. Oh my god, Yuta is the new Geto.
I mean, it's kind of funny because I know the manga, so I know that wasn't true, but like that even crossed my mind.
But when I said it, you were like, oh, I guess it did read off like that, huh?
It could, right? Because it would make more sense. I don't know if it makes more sense, but it's like, why are these two together? So you would think more like Yuta made the change because he's the main character. He's the one that is performing actions in a sense, right? But I read the wiki. Somehow Gojo convinced or forced Miguel to train Yuta. For whatever reason, Yuta's whole past has been kind of mysterious. When we even see in like season 1 that like he does a lot of training outside outside of Japan because he is considered one of the most powerful Jujutsu sorcerers already. That's the movie. I think overall it's a very good movie. If I want to end it in any way, it's the fact that Annie brought up before the podcast that they think this movie is visually more attractive, or actually is the most attractive anime movie out there, which I contested because of all the anime movies out there, Demon Slayers is the most visually attractive movie. Because if you listen to our past podcast on that movie, Annie did not shut up about the beautiful contrast between the bright saturated attacks against the night sky.
I'm gonna stop you there. I'm gonna say one thing that's gonna close your whole argument. As nice as Demon Slayer was, you couldn't see all the nice, actually anatomically correct faces and bodies. Like, do I even have to reference the whole Maki split? Like, I'm just saying there's a lot more backgrounds in Jujutsu Kaisen, and the body and faces was a lot more prettier than the Demon Slayer art style.
May I remind you of the scene where he cuts, what's the demon's name?
Enmu?
Not Enru. Can't be Enru, right? That's the villain in One Piece.
No, Enmu.
Enmu. When he cut Enmu's head and then the water dragon came and that's when the head came off.
My opinion as the artist, the one who drew this damn thumbnail, I think the Jujutsu Kaisen is just prettier.
Leave a comment because the Demon Slayer movie is definitely better than the Jujutsu Kaisen movie.
Yes, I will not get into how much I hate the plot of this movie.
But visually, which movie do you guys like? Leave a comment and we'll see who the fuck is right.
So yeah, unless you want to say any manga spoilers, I guess we're gonna end it here.
Alright, said I was gonna do that.
Yeah, let's give them a little tease.
I think the only manga spoiler that's kind of minor but came out pretty recently and it kind of shed some light on things was the very newest chapter, like 178. It literally came out on March 18th. Is that Yuta's curse power is that he can copy other people's powers.
I mean, we kind of saw that with the Inumaki megaphone.
Yeah, and then like
I don't know why that's like a surprise.
because they never said it. It was I did not know where the megaphone came, but I guess if his powers is of copying, I guess that's where it came from.
Could you imagine? You know how every Jujutsu sorcerer has like a domain?
Yes.
And like you enter his domain and like you don't have your powers, he just has it.
That will be cool, and we will probably see his domain in the next chapter.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Wow. I know some spoilers that he has Rika for some reason. My game theory, I don't know how. I think he's copying, so that's just like a shallow copy of Rika.
Which I think is kind of stupid to have because then it's like, I don't know, it felt like it takes away the stakes. It takes away kind of saying goodbye to Rika because saying goodbye to Rika was supposed to let her go, but then he's still using her. I guess not technically. I guess more in spirit, but it just feels weird. It feels like it's not a proper goodbye.
Speaking of goodbyes, I think it's time for us to hit the hay.
Yeah, this is a long episode.